What's up everybody, Jesse here, or as you all may know me as, Game Over Jesse, and I wanted to give you my thoughts on EA's E3 2017 conference. It was actually pretty good. I was surprised. Anyways, I'll be doing videos like this for every E3 conference, so be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out. Now, I actually just finished a 2-hour podcast with Spawnwave, Player Essence, Philip, and Dreamcast Guy, so if I sound a bit tired, I apologize. Getting back to E3's conference though, the reason it was so interesting to me was because of A Way Out, specifically Joseph, who announced the game, but I'll get to that a bit later. A Way Out is a new IP from the developers of A Tale of Two Sons. The game is a co-op only Naughty Dog-like game. I say that because it really put me in the mind of if Naughty Dog, who's responsible for the Uncharted and The Last of Us series, made a buddy co-op adventure game based off of the TV show Prison Break. The game looks far better than an indie game from a small team should, but if you have a company like EA backing your project, the budget's probably not a problem. I'm incredibly excited to see more from this game and see what's next from the studio. Allowing one character to move independently of the other, even if the other player is stuck in a cutscene, is a great addition. Joseph Fares, who I believe is the director of the game, whose name sounds very similar to my friend Joey Ferris's name. In fact, I actually had to double check just to make sure it wasn't Joey up on stage. Anyways, this guy is one of the best hosts I've ever seen on an E3 stage. Aside from Kevin Butler, of course. Usually the host or announcer comes on stage and is kind of awkward, tries being excited or funny while they're reading a script. I'm not a fan of this. Joseph came out and had me genuinely excited about the game, the exact opposite of how I felt about the woman who came out to present the multiplayer battle segment of Star Wars Battlefront 2. I don't want to be rude or negative in any way, after all, she was doing a better job than what I could probably ever do. But I felt that either her acting or the script she was reading from wasn't as good as it could have been. However, the game looked beyond amazing. The single-player story elements is what everyone asked for, and it's even telling a unique, original story. They could have been lazy with this part and instead just have you replay through famous, well-known parts from the movies and animated series. But they didn't. They give you a completely brand new story. I was kind of worried they would actually just have you replay through some of those famous moments, which would have been fun, but knowing exactly what happens next isn't as interesting as not knowing what to expect. So the game taking place between episodes 6 and 7 is great, and it means they can also have the story jump between years, instead of all taking place at once. For example, we could potentially win a battle and then be put on a quest or a mission that takes place 5 years in the future, so we aren't just experiencing one small moment in time. After that, we had a tease of a new game, Anthem, which a lot of people are excited for. EA said to expect more at Microsoft's conference, and I'm expecting it to release sometime during the launch window of the Xbox Scorpio, but I suppose launch window is a pretty broad term. Either way, I'm excited to see more. I was also happy to see more Battlefield DLC coming. Battlefield 1 is pretty fun, and seeing a new expansion coming to hold fans over until next year is great. The expansion is titled In the Name of the Tsar, and it will add new maps for World War I's Eastern Front. The expansion will add 6 new maps featuring the Russian army along with the iconic Woman's Battalion of Death. It's all releasing in September, and finally they teased a new small squad competitive mode, saying they'll share more details at Gamescom in August. Moving on to something that really took me by surprise was Madden 18's long shot story mode. I haven't really been a fan of sports games since I was playing NFL Blitz 2000 on the Nintendo 64, but this game had me excited, not for the actual game, but to see how unique I could potentially make my own story, if I were to play the game of course. Instead of playing one football game after another, I can actually have a story to invest in, and it could make me want to play even more. It actually felt like an improvement over the last version instead of the same game with only minor changes. But we're used to that by now. I even texted my brother who went to college to play and told him to watch the trailer because I thought it was so great. But anyways, next up is the FIFA 18 trailer. They had some interesting stuff to show off, but I was expecting a mention of the Switch version, which a lot of people have been curious about. It turns out that the Switch will be getting a different version, but it isn't a poor port that some were expecting. It is actually built specifically to take advantage of the Switch instead of being stripped down to work on it. So good news for Switch fans. NBA Live looks like it'll be a combination of street ball and actual NBA games, which is something I feel they've been doing for a while now. I specifically remember one game allowing you to play one-on-one street ball during the loading screen of an actual game. Finally, we have Fast and Furious Payback, or a Need for Speed Payback. I know, bad joke, everybody's making it. Seriously though, by now, I'm just not sure why Need for Speed doesn't just make a deal with Vin Diesel or whoever they need to in order to have a license to make the great game. Being serious though, I find it a bit odd that this is what we're getting. The game looks great, don't get me wrong. I just remember a couple of years back when EA said they were taking a year off to get back to its roots with Need for Speed, and that they didn't want to progress with all of the high-tech car combat they had, and wanted to make a solid racing game. That reboot of Need for Speed did come out, but now it seems like Payback is basically Rivals 2 but with visual upgrades. The cars having a better damage system is interesting, and crashes actually causing fire instead of just sparks is a good touch. But it just seems like after saying they were going back to their roots, they give us the same car combat they were trying to get away from. Altogether, the conference was great for an EA conference. Getting games free for a week or however long is great fan service, so thank you EA, and thank you for watching. But if you like this, be sure to check out my other E3 videos and subscribe. I've been Jesse, and for watching this, you've been awesome. I want to thank you all for watching this video, and welcome to the end slate. If you're a fan of these videos, please subscribe and comment below to let me know your thoughts. If you would like to support this channel, please consider supporting on Patreon, where you can watch videos like this early, and help me create longer videos like the top 10 best and worst of Ocarina of Time, Breath of the Wild, and the top 5 official Zelda games that have either been cancelled or just went unreleased. Finally, a huge thank you to this month's supporters: George Says Hi, Link Uses the Triforce, Transcendent Sacred Courage, Glenn Cassio, Prey Warrior, Victopedia, Rusty Caulfield, Robert W., Amanda Pina, Lunarium, Chris Gasparin, Harris Priest, Lovable Christie, Key of Time 15, Jerome Major, Daryl Quinnen, Furzin 16, Kadron, Magic Tech Review, and The Itch Network.